Gareth Bennett.
Diolch, Dipper Lewis. And can I also add my congratulations to Warren Gatland and the Welsh Rugby squad for the achievement of another Grand Slam. And let's hope that the unbeaten run continues up to the World Cup, during the World Cup, hopefully throughout the World Cup this coming autumn. No, not the rugby. First Minister, one of the areas that you're very interested in is pay inequality. In your personal manifesto, which you brought out last year, you said that, and I quote, "We must bring fresh energies to tackle inequality in pay," end quote. It seems to me that one of the causes of pay inequality in Wales is that we have a number of people in public sector organisations who appear to be on ludicrously high salaries. For instance, we have the Chief Executive of Cardiff Council, which is run by your Welsh Labour Party, on a salary of £170,000 a year, which is significantly more than the Prime Minister. And yet this is a council which can't even organise a bus station for the city. Would you agree with me, First Minister, that one way of tackling low pay and pay inequality is to put an end to the ludicrously high salaries of people like the Chief Executive of Cardiff Council?
Oh, well, first of all, that was not the sort of pay inequalities to which I was referring. I was referring, of course, to the much more mainstream ideas of gender pay inequality in the public services here in Wales. I am myself a believer in a system in which there is a multiplier between the pay of the lowest paid in an organisation and the highest paid in an organisation, and that should be at an agreed and fixed rate. And then you get pressure on pay inequalities to raise the pay of those at the bottom of the pay scale, who are far more numerous in number, of course, rather than a populist focus on individuals in other parts of the spectrum.
Well, you've advocated the multiplier. We will look into that and see how effective that is and how effectively you're actually overseeing that in Wales in terms of local government. The Cardiff Council Chief Executive is only one example of the problem that I'm highlighting today. We do have an increasing number of public sector officials in Wales on six-figure salaries. Now we are in an era of austerity, as you keep telling us. Local councils are having to close down facilities because of their budgets being cut, but the top tier of council officials seem to be some kind of protected species who are still allowed to take home ridiculous salaries. We have the nonsense of Caerphilly Council, also run by Welsh Labour, where a dispute over pay to 3 senior officers has led to the council wasting more than £4 million. We have a chief executive there who hasn't come into work for 6 years, and he's being paid £130,000 a year to do precisely nothing. And still the situation hasn't been resolved. First Minister, how do you tally your constant wailing about austerity with the fact that we have a tier of fat cat bureaucrats in Wales in the public sector, which is overseen by you, who are making such extraordinarily high sums of money? If the member is interested in the multiplier, and the facts and figures are there for him to take an interest in that topic, he will find that the gap between the lowest paid and the highest paid in the Welsh Government is the narrowest in the public sector in Wales, and that's because we are in charge of the Welsh Government. The member's interest in local government will be better pursued directly with those councils who have the responsibility for the matter that he is raising. That you once again try to evade your scrutiny of local government, which clearly is under the overall oversight of your Welsh Government here at the Assembly. The Caerphilly situation has been dragging on since 2012, so I think it now warrants some public comment from you, bearing in mind as well that one of your previous roles was as local government minister. So this ongoing fiasco has certainly been on your watch. In human terms, the salary of a chief executive who is being paid to stay at home would more or less cover the cost of running Pontland Fryth Leisure Centre, which is threatened with closure. First Minister, would you agree that the closure of facilities like leisure centres is the human cost of your Welsh Labour Party bending over backwards to help out its cronies in senior management positions in the Welsh public sector?
Well, it's nonsensical. It doesn't strike a chord even with those sitting around him. Let's be clear. The position in Caerphilly is one that is not satisfactory to anybody, but there is a process which is there that we are all bound by. It is nothing at all to do with any individuals or any organisations. The Welsh Government discharged its part of that responsibility in appointing an independent person to oversee the next stage in that process. I gave an undertaking to Hefin David, the local member, when I was the minister responsible, that as soon as the current system has worked its way through, we will institute a review of it. It is not satisfactory, it does not work, it does not deliver for local residents or for the council itself. But when you are in a process, you have a legal obligation to see it through. And people can make as much nonsense of it as they like. In a mature democracy, if there is a law that you have to abide by, then that is exactly what we will have to do, and then we will see how that law can be changed so that there is a more satisfactory process for the future.
Question 3.